Stop.
Start. Okay.
Say the name though. Yeah? Say the name.
Hi, my name is Alexis Dean.
I'm Marina Stanson.
I'm Elise McHugh.
And we did our presentation on the religions of Japan. We focused on the main three religions, Shinto, Buddhism, and Confucianism. I did the religion Shinto. A brief history of Shinto to start off with. Shinto has no known founder. It was originally used as an umbrella term for the scattered religions used in the different tribes throughout Japan. And then it became a more substantial religion in 6th century AD when Buddhism was introduced to Japan. Buddhism mixed with Shinto in the beginning, so Shinto started to adapt and took in some of the Buddhist symbols and practices, and many of the Shinto temples were run by Buddhist priests. This was broken up in 1868 when the imperial family disbanded Buddhism from them. They separated them completely from Shinto. This was to solidify the position of the emperor by bringing the deity Amaterasu, the spirit of the sun, who the emperor was supposed to be a descendant of. This movement only lasted a few years though, and Buddhism was quickly reintroduced to Shinto, and they mixed again. A few of the main beliefs of Shinto would be the belief in kami, or spirits, which are found in everything, such as plants, animals, mountains, and even your dead relatives. Everybody is considered to be a kami after death, and they are supposed to be spirits that are interested in the lives of humans. People usually live in accordance to how the kami believe they should live, which is as good and pure people. People are born pure, and then as they go through their lives, they gain impurity through sin, and this impurity is supposed to separate you from kami more, so they try their best to live without sinning, as most people do. They don't have separate worlds, such as Christianity, which has heaven, hell, and earth. Everyone lives in the same world, and there's the invisible and the visible. Kami live in the invisible world, while humans live in the visible world. And overall, they just try to live in harmony with all parts of life. And to help them do this, they often visit Shinto shrines. Shinto shrines can be found anywhere and everywhere. They are often built to emphasize their connection to nature, because kami are mostly found in nature. They are usually are surrounded by torii gates, and they have the komo inu, which are guardian dogs or lions, which protect the shrines and the kami that live within them. You can find shrines in mountain ranges, and they're also found in homes, which house your ancestral kami. People go to shrines to pray for help for kami. Usually if you want a good grade on a test, or you're wishing for a promotion in a job, or you just want good fortune, you would pray to a kami. And you would hope that they would help you in life. And that is just a brief history and beliefs and everything on Shinto religion. I'll pass it on to Marina for Buddhism.
Okay, so my part of the presentation is Buddhism, and in the first slide here I've included an image of the Kamakura Daibatsu, which is a Buddhist statue in Kamakura, Japan. It's actually kind of cool because you can walk into the statue and look around, so it's a big tourist destination. Okay, so the history of Buddhism. It was introduced in Japan in the 6th century AD. However, the doctrines differ greatly from the original Indian script because they were imported from China and not India. During the Tokugawa period, it was mandatory for Japanese citizens to belong to a Buddhist temple. This was because of the anti-Christian purges that were going on at the time. However, now it's like way more lax, and you're able to not be a part of a temple or be a part of a temple, it doesn't matter. During the Tokugawa period, also, Buddhist priests tend to be teachers. There were schools and temples, and I think this is why we tend to associate Buddhist priests as being scholarly, or at least I do.
Okay.
The battery's gone.
I got it. Continue on. I took care of it.
Okay.
No, never mind.
Go back.
It moved. Go back.
Oh, did I? Is it
You
working?
fixed it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So common Buddhist practices of the typical Japanese Buddhist today. Japanese Buddhists strive to become either a Buddha or a Bodhisattva in order to exit the reincarnation cycle. A Bodhisattva is just a Buddha who refrains from nirvana in order to stay on earth and help the people of earth. So I think they're more like the selfless Buddha. Some less strict Japanese Buddhists refer to their deceased relatives as Buddha. This isn't technically correct because Buddha are only people who manage to become enlightened, and not everybody is able to become enlightened during their lifetime. Japanese families also tend to have a Buddhist altar in their home. This can be next to a Shinto shrine, which are usually in the same room, because Japanese people can be both Shinto and Buddhist at the same time. And Zen is a Buddhist practice that is most commonly associated with Japanese arts, such as Japanese flower gardens or tea ceremonies. Zazen is a practice commonly known as meditation in the West. It's a practice where you sit cross-legged and attempt to remove yourself from all bodily concerns. Then Buddhist places of worship are called temples. Besides having an altar in their home, Japanese Buddhists are typically associated with a temple in their area. They go to the temple to make offerings and attend meetings during the holidays. And temples are arranged in a hierarchical order. This is kind of complicated, but basically it starts with a chief temple or a main temple that branches off into branch temples and then branches again into small local temples. So it's like a flow chart of temples. And the last point here I thought was kind of interesting. There are temples created for people with special needs. So what this means is there are temples, for example, for people who just want to die. So they go to the temple and pray that they die soon because it's against their religion to commit suicide. And there are also temples for mothers of aborted babies who pray for their aborted babies, and it's just specifically for them. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and if not a bit sad. And that's Buddhism. And you just push next.
Okay. So I did mine on Confucianism, and one of the symbols for Confucianism is the Japanese symbol for water, or Chinese, because they both share the same thing, which is mizu. Fun fact. So what is Confucianism? Confucianism is pretty much, it's based on kindness, it's based on mutual respect, and it's based on how you can better yourself and how you can better society. So it is founded, it can flourish from society when people learn to interact positively with each other. So it's more based on a community sense more than an individual sense. So some of the history of Confucianism, it was actually developed by the Chinese philosopher Confucius, which his actual real name was Master Kong. Missionaries decided to rename him, go people who go into different countries. But its fundamental principles, Confucius began before his birth during the Zhang dynasty. So it was kind of before he kind of made it popular. Confucianism did come to Japan before the Edo period, but it really didn't gain popularity until the samurai and the elite classes in the Edo period kind of adapted it and made it popular. And I have like a little map over there, way back in like 200 BC, where it kind of, you can see where it kind of originated, and you can see like Korea. I don't know how to. You can see Korea and how it would easily spread to Japan. It also spread like in Korea, also Taiwan and everything. So, okay, the practices and beliefs. So Confucianism doesn't really have any deities, or things that you can worship, Jesus, we have that. So Confucianism is not really a religion, sort of, kind of. It's more of a belief system, like a practice. Just do good unto others what you want people to do unto yourself. It is focused on a cultivation and virtue of ethics, so it's very ethical. You won't find a really mean person who's a Confucian. So the basic Confucian practices are they're called Ren, Yi, Li, and Zi. So Ren is benevolence, which is, I kind of broke it down for you, it's like manifest as compassion. So that's one of their main teachings by Confucius. Yi is upholding righteousness, so do good, disposition, do good. Li is how a person should act every day according to heaven's laws. They're always watching even though they don't have deities. And then Zi, the ability to see what is right and wrong, so kind of justice. And then Confucian areas of worship in Japan. So Confucius, they have the 4 consuls. I think that's like the 4 original philosophers. I was trying to look at, there wasn't much on there, but there was a lot on the 12 philosophers. So, like the 12 disciples, imagine 12 philosophers, that's kind of what they are. So Confucian places of worship are called temples or halls of the sage. The most famous one is in Yushima, what's called Yushima Saido, and it's in Tokyo, Japan. But the Confucius temples, there's not many in Japan, there's only 4, and they are in Nagasaki, Okinawa, Taiku, and Tokyo. More of them are in China because that's where Confucianism originated. Confucianism also is spread out through Taiwan, Vietnam, Korea, Indonesia, and Malaysia. So what you can see, it doesn't really look like a Shinto because there's no torii gates, but you can see how Shinto has bright colors, whereas Confucianism, there really are no brightly colored temples, which I found really odd because usually when you go to Japan, all the temples are brightly colored red, or gold. They're kind of bland. I don't know if that's because, they think more of others than themselves, so their temples aren't really extravagant. But that is all that we have for you. So we had Shinto, we had Buddhism, and we had Confucianism. These are all our sources. We do have the book here for all of us. Here are the Shinto, the Buddhism, and the Confucianism, and there is Torii Gate. So that is all we have. Thank you to Marina and Alexis, my wonderful partners, and thank you for listening.